Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. This guy's email makes me think he's an elk hunter. He's KE0IBA, and his question is, I've been thinking for several years about building a Hamstick Yagi antenna, but I'm not sure about the reflector. Does the reflector need to be another set of hamsticks or just a reflector that's a little longer than the driven element? Hoping you can give me some insight. Here, let's see what we can do. Here's a 20 meters, some 20 meter hamsticks. Okay, now the term hamstick actually is a trademark. Okay, so these are called hamtenna whips. These are by MFJ. Now, they're designed for mobile use and consist of two parts. This screws into a base, okay? And the wire kind of wraps around a little bit till it gets to right here, and this part is a loading coil, okay? And then there's what's called a stinger, which goes into the top here, like this. Now, once you get these things tuned, you tune it by moving the stinger in and out of the tube. Now note, don't go below where the coil starts, or you really run into a problem where the thing will really heat up on you. Now you can take it apart here at this point, so you can keep track of where you've got that thing put together. But this is one, and it's designed to be a vertical on your car, or truck, or RV, or whatever you're doing. Now that's vertical. Here's the half. Now I've got another hamstick here. So if you take the base of this and connect it to the base of this, okay, you got a dipole. And in fact, MFJ makes and may still have some of this, which is a device that hooks to a pole, and you can put one end of this into here, like this, and then put the other end in here, okay, and you've got a dipole. This is something I'm doing for my RV, okay? Now, let's talk about these. These are shortened. True dipole at 20 meters needs to be 33 feet long. Well, that'd be 16 feet on each side, okay. 40 meters, half that's 20 meters, which is about 66 feet. 20 meters, half that's 10 meters, about 33 or 34 feet long. Here's the two hamsticks back to back, okay? Now, the electrical wavelength from here to here is 1/2 of the wavelength, okay, which is going to be about 33 feet. Obviously, the physical length of this is far less than that because there's loading on the hamstick, okay? The loading makes it electrically longer than it is physically. However, if you put a boom through here and put a reflector back here, this reflector also has to be somewhat greater than 1/2 wavelength, an actual electrical 1/2 wavelength. You could put another hamstick back here, although that now you're getting into the expensive option. Okay, but you could do it. But you'd have to extend the stinger further out so that the thing is longer than 1/2 wavelength. Now you actually could build that, and the separation here can be whatever you'd like, let's say 10 feet or 8 feet or 12 feet, whatever you want. You can look in design guidance in the ARRL antenna book or in the ARRL amateur radio handbook. Now, so this needs to be a little bit longer. If you're just going to make this out of copper or aluminum, you're talking 33 feet, so 16 feet on the side. Whoa! That thing got big. This is the critical point you have to keep in mind. What is important for the design of the Yagi is the electrical wavelength of the element. Because this is shortened with a loading coil, this will not be 33 feet in between. You'll be lucky to get, I don't know, that thing isn't even 10 foot tall, it's about 8 foot tall, so 16 feet. here to here, you're really shortening that. So you could put hamsticks back here and make them longer by a few inches, 3 inches or so on each one. And then any directors that you put in as hamsticks, you'd have to pull that stinger in. Again, remember, don't pull the stinger down into that coil, because that loading coil, when these things start working together as an antenna, that thing can get really hot if you get that stinger down, and you'll actually have to cut the stinger, okay, to get the electric. And of course, you can put as many of these as you want. One reflector generally. You can put 2 reflectors in there, but that's kind of overkill for what you're doing here. Can you make this with hamsticks? Yes, but they need to be a little bit longer, so that means lowering the frequency. And these out here need to be a little bit shorter than the driven element, and the driven element needs to be adjusted with those stingers to be half electrical wavelength long. You'll know that when you get your lowest SWR right there. Now, okay, how do you match it right there? There's a couple ways of matching it. Well, obviously, this is a balanced antenna, and this is connecting an unbalanced directly to a balanced antenna. Will that work? Yeah, it can work, but here's the thing. Making a Yagi all out of hamsticks is kind of an expensive way of doing it. You might look at pre-built Yagis which already have loading in them. The old classic Kulbeth A3 is what I'm thinking of. Well, that antenna has been around for more than 50 years. It's got loading, so it's not so long. By the way, I've just heard that Kulbeth and Teagan, which were both at one time independent antenna companies, were purchased by MFJ and run by MFJ for many years. Those have been purchased from what's left of MFJ and will operate as an independent antenna company now. So now you can get all these things. Okay, they're now available again, and they make some very nice low-cost beams that have different varying degrees of loading. Now, loading is a compromise. In the case of loading an antenna, the compromise is bandwidth. Okay, the bandwidth goes down. So that antenna that you make up with your 20-meter hamsticks is probably only going to cover about half the band. It's just something, you tune it for what part of the band you think you're going to operate in the most. If you get a little bit bigger, something like, it covers more of the band until you finally get down to no loading, and it will cover the entire band, because the Q on a full-sized dipole type circuit like that is sufficient that the 3 dB down points are outside the band. So you get a pretty good SWR across the band. You, of course, want to balance that out to depend, like say you like to do single sideband, which will be at the upper end of the band, and you want to do FT8, which is down at 14074, so that's down toward the bottom of the band. So, pays your money and take your choice. Will it work? Yes, you can make it work, but keep in mind, it's not the physical length, it's the electrical length. These are physically shortened because they've got loading coils in them. You could use more hamsticks. These aren't real cheap. You can get more hamsticks and make a complete Yagi out of them if you wanted to. Now note that if you do that, let's go back over here. Now this thing is fed right here. Okay, here's your coax. It goes in there. This hamstick and this hamstick are held apart a little bit so you can feed each side of them. These have to be straight throughs. So you've got to take the business end of this hamstick and connect it directly, like piece of copper, directly to this end of the hamstick. Okay, one easy way to do that is to get a stainless steel 3/8 inch bolt, or just a piece of, without the bolt on it, and you can screw both of them on there and hold them down really well. So anyway, these are straight through, these are straight through, but this one is split in the middle for feeding. Hamsticks are designed for portability and things like that. They're not really designed for this application. You could put a balun, if you want, a 1-to-1 balun, right at the feed point there, so you keep it balanced on both sides. There you have it. I hope that helps. I really appreciate all the people who help make this channel possible. There are those who subscribe. We have about 140,000 subscribers, and there are those who click on the bell so that they're notified when there are updates. And there are those who help support this channel financially, which you can do by going to Patreon. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being Augies. The definition of the word Augie is someone who subscribes to this channel. So that won't cost you a penny. Until we next meet, 73.